Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm Keith Downey, and as the church awaits the election of our next pope, many Catholics are asking, how can we prepare spiritually and practically? Well, hey, joining me is Jordan Burke, author, speaker, founder of Do the Harder Thing on Instagram, where he inspires thousands with his approach to spiritual and personal growth. He's also the content coordinator at the Avila Institute for Spiritual Formation and so much more. Good morning and welcome back, Jordan.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Yeah. What I absolutely love about you, Jordan, is that you have such a level-headed approach just about with anything. And so I'm curious, what are your hopes and expectations for the upcoming conclave?
That's a really good question. I think my hope is probably everybody's hope, which is that there's a pope who is put into place who truly loves and sacrifices for the church, and hopefully brings a substantial amount of unity and clarity. I think that's the biggest thing. But what do I expect? I don't know. And I don't know if it's necessarily my place to expect anything, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I'm approaching it. I'm uniformity with God's will as much as I can, praying about it, and just kind of seeing where it goes.
I think that's a very appropriate way to approach it, because I think, especially today, I think things are almost too visible. I think with social media, we're too much involved. I think in a certain way, where we know so many of the cardinals now, which is not a bad thing in itself. It's good to know some of these cardinals' names so that we can pray for them. But yeah, this is kind of the first time we've ever been so connected. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it is I think it's kind of neutral. I can see problems on both sides, right? So if you look at the history of the church, for hundreds and hundreds of years, the laity didn't know anything that was going on, and they went about their lives and they tried their best to be saints, and that was it. And that was the way of things. That being said, on the other side, we do have this beautiful aspect of the laity becoming more involved in knowledge of what happens in the church, praying for the church, hopefully more than ever. So it's, I hate to give kind of it's in the middle answer, but, I think it is kind of in the middle.
No, I would agree with you on that, especially looking at the secular realm, because even they are more interested than I've ever seen before on the papal conclave and just the Pope in general. Which, I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I can see neutral, because you could definitely take it either way. So what should Catholics understand, do you think, about the conclave process without getting caught up in speculation? Because I think that can also kind of be over the top.
Yeah, if anyone is listening to this and they're thinking about what's going on, they're ideally praying about what's happening in the church. If you find yourself being brought to doubt, despair, narcissism in the sense of like a disordered, inwardly thought process about what you can or can't do, that is problematic. That's essentially from the enemy. Ignatius of Loyola talks about this in Discernment of Spirits. Doubt, despair, and narcissism are the primary ways that the enemy tries to kind of distract us and attack us. So if you're thinking about this stuff and you're praying about this stuff and you find yourself going towards that, you need to step back and you need to look at where God is at in your life, put it in his hands, because what can you actually do outside of prayer? None of us have fancy red hats. None of us are in Rome and all that influential. There might be someone listening who's super influential. I don't know. But, as someone who, we've worked with cardinals in the past at our events, being that close to them, even we don't have that kind of level of influence, and we probably shouldn't. So what do? Yeah. We just sit back and we pray and we give it to God. So.
Yeah. Do you think social media could have influence on cardinals? Like maybe they're on social media and they're seeing all these things that people are saying, and good or bad?
I've thought about that. I don't know, because this better than anyone. When you start getting to a particular level, especially for cardinals, they have so many things going on that usually someone else manages their account. So even some of the more popular priests that we've worked with that we all know, I won't give away names, you can probably guess. They have someone manage their account. So they hop on sometimes, they see stuff. But I just don't know if I don't know if it's all that impactful outside. And if it is, what should we be doing? hey, you know what?
Mm.
I'm doing this novena for this cardinal. I'm doing this novena for the conclave. I'm doing this prayer for this. I'm sacrificing this. I'm fasting on these days, whatever it may be. That's probably, if you're looking to get a message out, that's probably going to be the best, most efficacious and meritorious message that you can put out anyway.
I was just about to ask, what are some great ways for the laity to support the cardinals in conclave? Fasting, praying, especially there's a lot of novenas out there, I think, that are with, Cardinal Burke and some other great priests out there. Speaking of social media, you posted you have a great series you're posting on Instagram, and one that I think could be very, just important for today is you don't get to correct everyone and shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen, I mean, in the past, even with Pope Francis, people going out on social media trying to what they think is correcting him. But your post really goes into the depth on why, like, hey, not every battle is yours, and you back it up with scripture. That's incredible. What encouraged you to post that?
My own failings. Yeah, I mean, I was so overly zealous for a number of years when I first got on social media, and social media, unfortunately, really kind of draws people to that kind of mindset and behavior. And even though good work
Mm.
was done, some incredible things happened. Like we had a college that called me personally to apologize, which, by the way, I think is ridiculous. That was not necessary.
Wow.
But they were holding a tarot card event, and we caused a stink, and they stopped. So good things can happen. However, if you're not, it's almost like smacking someone on the hand versus reflecting on what Jesus did, and
Mm.
most importantly, reflecting if it's even our place to do so. And so, if anyone takes anything away from this, I've kind of kept the phrase in my head. Have you earned a seat at their table? Meaning, have you
Right.
implicated yourself in their lives to the extent that you can speak into their life and they know that you're coming from a place of love? And ultimately, if you haven't earned a seat at their table, it's very, very likely, not always, but I would say most of the time, that it's just not your place to speak. And it's something that you got to, and then what do? You pray about it. And as you said, that reflects exactly with what we're going with what's going on in the conclave and, people in leadership that we see post things. It's, yeah.
I feel like a lot of our problems would be solved socially if we were to take some of these approaches, like you said, have you earned a seat at their table? Because I've experienced it. Someone like that I have no idea like makes a comment or criticism. I'm like, I don't even know who you are, so
Right.
I'm not going to take this seriously. Whereas a good friend or a family member, they like set you aside, like, hey, look, you did this. This is not a good thing. I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah, I really need to focus on this particular individual and what they said.
Yeah. And it's funny. I mean, if those same people, they've experienced it, right? They've experienced it on the other end, which is kind of usually why they're kind of lashing out. But if they would just
Mm,
take a second and think, like, oh, I really don't like it when someone does that to me. Not just I don't like it, it doesn't make sense for the exact reasons that you said. It's like, who are you? Like, yeah, I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. You don't know who I work with. You don't know that I run this by priests before posting it, or those sorts of
right.
things.
Yeah.
There's no assumption of the best of the other person, which is probably the primary lacking issue here. But regardless, as
Mm,
you said, it's funny if they just took a step back, they'd realize, oh yeah, this isn't effective because it doesn't work on me. So why is it going to work on somebody else?
yeah. So, I mean, with that aspect of social media, people being more outspoken about things and people that they don't like, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the next pope?
That I got to be careful what I say. We're in a time right now where the laity is very divided. And I think that any
Yeah.
pope going into that position is going to have to pray really hard about what both sides are feeling, because that is important. I know we have this whole your feelings don't matter, but feelings are a reflection of some sort of perception of some sort of reality, whether that reality is
Mm,
correct or not. And so you have to take into account, what are these folks experiencing? What do they think they're experiencing? And ultimately, how do I bring them together without sacrificing the truth? That's the key thing. No sacrificing the truth, but bringing people to what the church actually holds to be true. And I can't imagine being in that position. I joke about it, like what I would do if
sure.
I was Pope, but truthfully, that is it's stunning, and we really, really got to pray for whoever gets elected.
Yeah. There's a meme out there, I think it was from Catholic Answers, that was basically, I've thought for like 10 hours straight of what name I would choose as a Pope name. And I've only spent like 4 minutes choosing my daughter's name or something like that. It's just like, it's funny because I've done it too. I have a 10-point plan of what I would do as Pope. But then I'm like, what am I doing? I'm spending all this time fantasizing about something that'll never happen. Come on, Keith. It's ridiculous. Right. Any new things happening with you? Any projects you're working on?
Oh man, it never ends. We're preparing for a huge event out here at the Retreat Center for the Apostolate BA community, a lay association of the faithful. I am looking to get into blacksmithing. I don't know if that's interesting to anyone.
Oh.
I've had a wild hair and I'm looking into that. So yeah, the projects never end. probably doing too much. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have a garden going right now, and it's just been the woman who's in charge of it it's been amazing. The yield is amazing. It's incredible. So if you don't have a garden, get a garden. It's great.
You are a Renaissance man, Jordan. I think that's an apt title now. I'll have to add to the intro. But yeah, so for those out there, and sometimes you actually post videos on your Instagram of what you're doing around the Retreat Center. It's very interesting. For those that are wanting to see more, make sure to follow him on Instagram. Do the Harder Thing. Search Do the Harder Thing. We'll make sure to have all of this in the show notes. So yeah, we've got spiritualdirection.com, Avila Institute, all of that great stuff. Thank you so much, Jordan, for joining us this morning. It's been great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, you got it. And that's it for Morning Joy, where truth matters. We've got so much more to say, and that's why we have the After Show Clubhouse as a way for us to extend the conversation, debrief from the show without the confines of that time limit, that radio time limit that always catches us. So in order to find us, to be able to enjoy this and interact with us, you got to go to any of the social medias. Could be YouTube. We recommend YouTube. Got a lot of great Joyful Warrior Pilgrims there. Just search Morning Joy Radio or GRN Online, as that is who produces the show. But if this is us truly parting ways for the day, we'll be back early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern. Morning Joy, where truth matters. Until then, God bless, and make it a joyful day. We'll see you.
This has been Morning Joy, where truth matters, hosted by Keith Downey. Take some joy with you today. Visit grnonline.com/joy to listen again, share a segment, or answer the question of the day. That's grnonline.com/joy.